Somebody in my last video about bird flu said that I was making hand gestures to the Illuminati while I was talking. And while I am totally flattered that you think I belong to such a club, I promise you that I don't. Yet. Hey guys, welcome to Chickenlandia. I am a backyard chicken educator here in the Pacific Northwest, but you can call me the president of Chickenlandia. This looks a little bit different today because it is raining outside. Like I just said, I am in the Pacific Northwest and it's been like hailing and raining all day, which is actually kind of strange for where we live because it usually doesn't hail like that. But anyway, here we are. I got a lot of new followers recently and I'm super happy about that. I know it's because I put out a couple videos about bird flu. Now, of course, I'm getting more followers and that means I'm getting a lot more comments on my channel. A lot of you are really telling me what your opinion is regarding where you think bird flu came from. And I want you all to know that I really believe that we need to have a discourse about this, and as long as that's respectful, it is totally welcome here in Chickenlandia. I'm interested in what you think, and as long as you treat me well and you're not like yelling at me or being rude to me, I definitely welcome you here, and I'm glad that you're participating in the conversation. So all that being said, there are a few points that I want to make, and I hope that you will stick with me through the end of the video, regardless of where you stand on this issue, because like I said, I think it's important that we talk about it, and I've just decided that there's a few things I really feel like I should say. So when I got my first batch of baby chicks, which was several years ago, there was actually highly pathogenic avian influenza right here in my county. There was a farm that had to cull all of their birds that was very nearby. It was in the wild aquatic bird population here, and it was a concern, but it was not the way it is now. They didn't ask us to cover our runs. They didn't tell us not to grow our flocks from what I can remember. Maybe they did. If they did, I really honestly don't remember. I mean, I was really new at it. And so I just like went forward as if there was really nothing going on. And whenever it ended, I don't even know when that was. Like no one said, okay, it's officially over. There's no more avian flu here. Nobody said that. It just kind of faded away and it was over. Well, it goes without saying that we are in a totally different climate right now. We have just been through 2 years of trauma. There are many of us that have spent the last 2 years afraid of getting sick. You may not have even gone anywhere or really restricted where you went because you were worried about getting sick or getting other people sick. And then there are those of us that have really lost trust in our institutions. And I want you to know I understand both of those sides. I really do. After I put out my last video about bird flu, a lot of people made some assumptions about me, about what I believe about other things because of what I said about bird flu. And I'm just not somebody that fits neatly into a box. I try to think critically about everything. I don't fit into a particular category. So I'm gonna tell you some things, and I promise I'm gonna bring it back to bird flu. I mentioned this in my last video that my family, my parents, are from Guatemala. So they came to the United States from Guatemala. They came here in 1965. Now this was before I was born, and they were very, very fortunate because they had family already in the United States, so they were able to come here legally. They came by plane. They didn't like walk over the border or anything. But a lot of people aren't that lucky, and I'm gonna say something right now. If you love me and you love my channel, you should know that the only difference between me and a lot of people that are coming from these war-torn countries or these countries that have been torn apart by corporate interests, the only difference between me and the millions of people that are trying to get here is luck. So I just want to say that. So the reason my parents had to leave the country that they loved is because there was a civil war going on. And there was also a genocide that happened there of the indigenous Guatemalan people. And a lot of people don't know about that because it's really not something that is taught in our schools. And it also had to do with corporate interests, mainly the food industry. I'm not gonna totally go into it, but you should look it up and learn a little bit about it because you will see how the US was involved, how the CIA was involved, and how corporations had so much power that they were able to start a war. And that war lasted for almost 4 decades. And it completely tore apart my parents' country. So I have to confess that because of my family's history, my default is also distrust. And that really comes from the fact that I understand what the powers that be are capable of doing in the name of money and power. And I hate to say that. I wish that wasn't my default, but it is. And so because of that, because that's where I'm coming from, I understand when people are like, I don't believe that this is real. I do believe it's real. I do believe that bird flu is real, but I really understand when people say that they don't believe what the authorities are telling them. And I know that some of you on the other side of that are going to be upset with me for even saying that, but I have to say, my job, what I believe in and what I'm trying to do with Chickenlandia is to bring people together, not to pull them apart. So I really try and understand where all sides are coming from. And to me, the most important thing is that we're kept safe and that we can take care of each other. Now, as far as whether or not these so-called conspiracy theories are actually true, I have to admit that in this crazy world we live in right now, there may be some truth to some of this stuff. I can't tell you that there is or not. There are other people that are diving really deep into that stuff, and I don't think that's my place, and I think it would be irresponsible of me to just say whatever, without really having proof. I would hate to be the one that told you that all of this isn't true and then you lose your flock. My job and what I feel like my place is in all of this is to give you information, to educate you about chickens, to make it more possible for you to keep chickens and have this sustainable practice that you're doing, have this wonderful protein for your family, so that we don't have to be dependent on these institutions that frankly don't really deserve our trust. And maybe that isn't true for some of you, but for me, I really want more people to be able to raise their own food and to just feel like they have some control over their future and over their children's future. I am not here to fan the flames of yet another culture war. If there's one thing that I understand, it's that civil wars or culture wars are meant to keep us apart. They are meant to keep us from the truth. And I feel like if there's anything that is going to finish us off, it is not going to be bird flu. It is not going to be Bill Gates. It is not going to be the Illuminati. It's going to be the fact that we couldn't see past these created divisions that are meant to distract us. And we couldn't focus on what's really important, and that is our families, our animals, and this planet that we walk on every day. Okay, I know that was a lot, but I want you to know that for your viewing pleasure, I do have another video. It's all about some very simple biosecurity steps that you can take to protect your flock and your family and everything else. All you have to do is click right here. It's 100% friendly backyard chickens, education, and entertainment. And I know you're gonna love it. And I wish it would stop raining.